Karen, thank you so much for allowing me to present this crash course in resilience to my fellow veterans. My name is Jennifer Jones, and I'm a resilience consultant. I guide individuals on how to maintain and develop a resilient mindset and lifestyle through personal development, well-being, and self-actualization. I want to thank all of you for taking the time out of your day to pursue something that may be beneficial to your well-being. All right. The purpose of this course is to show you how to maintain and develop resilience by cultivating practices, resources, strategies, modalities, and tools to quickly bounce back from adversity and positively adapt to the unfamiliar demands of the situation. By the time this session is over, you will have an understanding of resilience as a dynamic process and an emotional first aid kit to help restore balance when you are feeling unsettled. All right. I want to share a quick background story about me so you can understand why I'm passionate about resilience. I served in the Marines for almost 12 years as a combat camera videographer. My kidney shut down while forward deployed to Afghanistan due to a rare autoimmune disease. To this day, no one can tell me what caused it, but it did cause me to be medically retired from the Marine Corps in 2013. Because of that, I became very disillusioned. I felt like I lost my sense of self, my sense of identity. I wasn't ready to get out of the Marines at 27, and I definitely couldn't accept that I had to deal with a chronic illness for the rest of my life. It put me in a very dark place, one that had me questioning if all of this was worth it. I know a lot of you veterans can relate to that. You know, the two standbys of just being strong and sucking it up only works for so long, am I right? I had to reach out for help. And, you know, I spoke to a mental health care professional who encouraged me to primarily focus on what I can control and have faith that the rest will work itself out. I began to rely on what worked for me in the past and discover other resources to handle the current situation. The recurring theme in my studies was resilience. I became fascinated with the concept, and based on what I learned, I finally accepted my medical condition. I became compliant in my treatment, and I even found a living donor who gave me a second chance at life by donating a kidney to me, and I received my kidney transplant April 2nd, 2015. The quote on this slide rings true. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. That quote is by Viktor Frankl. If you have not read his book, Man's Search of Meaning, it gives you a different and unique perspective on how to accept circumstances beyond your control. I highly recommend reading that book.
Jennifer, I was just talking to a friend over the weekend about that very book. She hadn't read it yet. And I think it's the second most bought book in the world after the Bible. It's in almost every language. It's one of the most powerful books you'll ever read. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, it's a true testament of, you know, there's circumstances and situations that you go through where you feel like you might not be able to make it, but it's proven that if sometimes just having a little bit of faith in yourself and what you believe in, things can turn out much better than you expected it to. You will be able to get through it.
Yeah, so, I'm a Holocaust survivor. That's
yes,
how it works.
Absolutely. Okay, let me get my notes together. All right. After everything I went through, I wanted to gain a better understanding as to why we can survive and even thrive under certain conditions. But for others, we have a more difficult, maybe even seemingly impossible time with circumstances beyond our control. That's what the study of psychological resilience consists of. Psychological resilience has been defined as a dynamic process encompassing positive adaptation within the context of significant adversity. From this perspective, resilience will be altered based on the circumstances, which mean that whatever process you use for situation A may not work for situation B. It's not a fixed construct. It's not that it's just this resilience, and that's it. It's a process. It's what you decide to incorporate in your day-to-day life to adapt to challenging circumstances, challenging life experiences. I even also discovered that although resilience is typically associated with the individual's ability to effectively deal with negative life events, resilience can also result in effective dealing with positive events as well. For instance, research has found that the positive emotions that emerge from savoring the moment during stressful events can help offset the experience of negative emotions. In fact, savoring positive experiences has been suggested to be the most beneficial for people who experience fewer daily positive events, which all of us apply to that since the pandemic and having to adjust our entire lives during this process. A good example of this is in my own pursuit of developing resilience. I came across the Veterans Resiliency Holistic Clinic, which provided modalities that I never tried before, but benefited me more than some others I've tried in the past. I especially thank Karen for teaching me about the mind-gut connection and aiding me in releasing trapped energy built up from past traumatic experiences. Adding these modalities to my arsenal helped me develop and maintain resilience. By cultivating a collection of practices, resources, strategies, modalities, and tools, it'll help you be better prepared to face challenging situations. That's what's so great about the process of resilience. It's not just one tool, it's not either or, it's a collection of whatever helps you navigate and overcome a difficult life experience. All right. Now, I want to provide you all with 3 practices to help you deal with unsettling circumstances that may be interfering with your capacity to respond to them properly. I call this emotional first aid, which is something that you can do quickly in a short space of time that helps you gather your resources together, be able to take inspired action, and feel confident in how you respond to those circumstances. The first practice is the acronym ABRAH. I know most of you are familiar with the magic words abracadabra, right? It's magic. That's a good way of remembering this practice. The letters ABRAH stands for acknowledge, breathe, respond with active hope. Acknowledge, breathe, and respond with active hope. I use this as a reminder when I find myself unsettled or so agitated that it's interfering with my ability to respond. I begin by acknowledging not only what's going on the inside, but also on the outside as well. What's the emotional state that I'm currently in? Is that state helping me give my best response? Then I utilize a simple 3-breath pause where I take a deep breath in, hold it, and then take a deep breath out. And I would like to say that every time I do yogic breathing in and out through my nose, but depending on how angry I am, it might be like, I just gotta, it's like that sometimes. But being able to bring attention to the flow of the air coming in and out as I breathe, it brings me back to the present moment. Because sometimes, your emotions get the best of you, and when you're riled up, just taking a 3-breath pause, which I breathe in and out 3 times, just quickly, just to reorient myself in the present situation. Then lastly, I would respond with active hope, which consists of starting from where I am, then identifying what outcome am I hoping for, and deciding what I can do to be active in moving forward in that way. Now, I know it's easier said than done. So, if you're still feeling unsettled and anxious and overwhelmed, and what you really want to do to move forward is something that you're not capable of doing at that time, sometimes the correct active hope response is to move on to another practice to help you feel better in that moment. All right, the second practice is simply self-compassion. Just like Elaine said, self-compassion leads to self-empowerment. I love that statement. It's about being kind to yourself. Sometimes we have a tendency to be our own worst critic or enemy, even the way we talk down to ourselves. I know I have been so guilty of that. I'm still guilty of that sometimes. What has helped me is to utilize the golden rule in reverse. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Instead, I think of, well, what if someone dear to me was tearing themselves down? What would I say to them? And then utilize that same guidance, reassurance, and compassion to myself. Now, I know the idea of soothing yourself or saying kind words to yourself may seem a little difficult or a little weird, at first. I know it was for me, like I'm talking to myself, like this is strange. But it's so beneficial to gain the ability to provide support for yourself so that you're prepared for times when you may have to face difficult life experiences alone. I know there's a few times where being a kidney patient, I've had to be inpatient alone and make serious medical decisions, with help of, my mom and loved ones through the phone. But when you're by yourself and you're surrounded by a lot of doctors, it's a little intimidating. So being able to soothe myself in those moments that I had to myself just helped me get through those challenging circumstances in so many ways. All right, the third and final practice is the 5 sense check-in. Shout out to Jared for teaching me about mindfulness. It now plays a significant role in my life. I've learned that how you feel influences, at least in part, by what you give your attention to. How you feel is shaped in part by what you look at. So if you look at something that upsets you, obviously you'll start to feel upset. I'm not saying to not pay attention to those things, because that's impossible, especially with the noise that is around us, in this day and age. But sometimes it would help to press the pause button when you're feeling extremely overwhelmed by everything that's going on around you. So this check-in causes you to give your attention to each of your 5 senses by asking yourself these questions. Number 1, what am I seeing? So what is your current surroundings, shapes, colors, other people, your fur babies? What are you seeing in your immediate area? Number 2, what am I hearing? You can even close your eyes while you're trying to listen to help you focus on what sounds are going on around you. It could be just as simple as the hum of your air conditioner. Number 3, what do I smell? Take a few sniffs. Hopefully, nothing smells bad around you. But if you don't really smell anything, what you could also have available for this practice is, something that reminds you of your favorite scent or an essential oil. Being able to smell something pleasant can help you return back to the present moment. Number 4, what can I taste? Well, if you don't taste anything right now, then you can have something small like a piece of fruit or even a glass of water where you can chew or sip slowly, just really giving your attention to it, savoring, just having a little moment of savoring. And number 5, what do I feel in my body? Where are my feet touching on the ground? If I'm sitting, what am I sitting on? How does it feel to me? What temperature do I feel right now? You can even perform a brief body scan from top to bottom just to bring awareness of what's going on the inside and outside of your body. That's all I have for you today, and I got it done in 15 minutes. Does anybody have any questions or any comments? Any exercises that you practice or anything that you do to help you be resilient during difficult situations and circumstances?
Well, I'll make a comment since nobody else is. But, Jennifer, you mentioned that sometimes when it's a really difficult situation, you just sort of, it's actually based on someone who spoke a couple months ago, Deborah Depew, was that her name, Karen? She spoke, and she used that very strong sighing exhale as another tool that we can use. So that's not sort of wrong or bad, but that sigh and I talked about it a couple months ago, or like a hiss. In addition to just that exhale is a very powerful way to kick in that, parasympathetic nervous system. And, but I'm sorry, I was a minute or two late. Could you review with me what your, how you ended up needing a kidney transplant?
Oh, yes. Thank you for letting me know about that, because sometimes I do feel like I'm wrong for, exhaling in a, with anger or with, being upset. So thank you so much for letting me know about that. I was forward deployed to Afghanistan in 2011, and I started having symptoms of like swelling in my face and extremities, and just really bad symptoms for an environment like that, because it was 130 some odd degree weather. I was drinking like a gallon of water a day, but I was retaining water. So that was a problem. So I finally went to medical, and they told me that, you have significant kidney damage. We need to medically evacuate you to Germany. So I went to Germany. I got tested. They're like, you need to go back to the States. We need to figure out what's going on. I was sent to Walter Reed in Bethesda, Maryland, and I was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disorder. This is a mouthful, membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis, type 1 idiopathic. Yeah, I know. Membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis.
Not the front part. Wow.
Yes. And to this day, no one can tell me what caused it. It's a rare autoimmune disorder, which triggered my immune system to look at my kidneys as a foreign entity and reject, cause them to reject. And so, yeah, that's what happened. And I was medically retired because you can't serve with damaged kidneys. So that's, but I like I said, I've had my kidney transplant for 5 years, and I'm stable. I'm grateful, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for what happened. And I love the person that I've become through the challenges that I've faced. And that's what I want. I want so many to be in that same place in their life. Like, despite all of the mess that they've endured, you can believe that there is a moment where you're going to be able to look back and go, all right, I get it. I'm better. I've grown, I'm in a better place than I was despite what happened. If I can convince one person to feel that way, to utilize what resources and tools that I'm sharing, and they can do that, then I'm good. Then it was all worth it.
Inspiring story. Wow.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Jennifer, you are so awesome, and your presentation was so awesome.
Yes.
When you were talking about the breath, one of the other things that we do in somatic experiencing is the VU, and the VU is used to balance out what we call the vagal system.
Yeah.
And so if it's too high, it can get it low, but it's more for people who are walking around in freeze, those of us who dissociate, or those of us who are depressed, or those of us who are just kind of like zombie-like, that the VU will activate and get us more into that sympathetic nervous system and get us moving again. So, and the other one is what my dad did, and I didn't realize what he was doing all my life, that when something was disturbing him, because he had a temper and he kept it under control, he would hum. And we would tease him, Dad, what are you humming about? Because usually my mother had said something that got him going. Dad, what are you humming about? I'm not humming. And he would be regulating his nervous system. And now I can look back on it and say, wow, Dad was teaching me something then, as a kid. And neither one of us had any idea that there was all this scientific evidence around it. And yeah, so I wanted to share that. Your presentation was fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I wanted to add on. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say, you mentioned your father doing the humming thing, I find myself, because like I suffer from panic attacks, and so what helps me to keep from having a panic attack, especially like when I go into like a public place or something, is I'll just start whistling. And I am not good at whistling, but it sure helps me to get, you know, just the oxygen flowing, and just kind of like help me calm down a little bit, get my breathing going. Another thing that I was gonna mention, because you were talking about like things that you see, feel, and hear. My therapist, she tells me there's this practice that's very similar, where it's 5 things of each. So 5 things that you see, 5 things that you feel, and 5 things that you hear, and then do 4 of those, and then 3 and 2 and 1. And don't like worry too much about like the number or counting it. That's just more to just get your mind focused on something. But you might have mentioned that I had to like get up during the presentation a couple times, but I just wanted to mention that.
No, thank you, Kate. Thank you so much. Because yeah, I 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because that's excellent for those moments. Because I suffered from panic attacks really bad when everything started, and I never. Like, it was so strange to me to feel completely out of control like that, and it was hard for me to focus. Like I would try to do something quick, and it was just like, yeah, whatever. So being able to focus on 5 things and do that countdown, I thank you. That's probably going to be extremely beneficial for me. So I'm definitely going to try that.
As far as like, just to like elaborate a little bit on it, whenever I do it, I tend to like materials. So like whatever I'm wearing, I'll kind of just like touch on my shirt or something, or my pants, or whatever may be around me, like even the chair that I'm sitting on, just to feel like that material and just kind of bring me back down. And then like if there's not much going on as far as like what you can hear, you can always just name the same thing again. Like right now I can hear my AC going. You could just say AC each time. Just so you're not like, oh my gosh, I gotta find something else that I hear and I can't find anything else. Because I know sometimes like when I'm in the middle of a panic attack, it's hard for me to like, I don't know, think of something. So just like take that pressure off of yourself. But yeah, I totally understand the panic attacks. I've had am so severe that my whole entire body is like convulsing. It's very strange. I didn't even know that that was a symptom of a panic attack, but anyway, they've subsided a lot. So I'm very grateful for the mindfulness practices.
I'm grateful too. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. I'm going to incorporate that. I appreciate you being here. This is something that I have wanted to do for a while, so I'm grateful for the opportunity. So I hope all of you got something out of it.
I definitely did, and you did a really great job at it.
Thank you.
I'd like to add, you can, along with the breath, use a mantra. If you have your own personal mantra that you like, one that's pretty common is so hum. It's a inhale, so, and exhale, hum. And it just means I am. And Lainey is probably familiar with it because it goes along with yoga practice. And you can add the in. So if you're saying so hum, you're saying I am, and acknowledging what you feel at the time. So you'd be saying, I am happy, I am excited, I am sad, but all you really need for your mantra to help calm the breath is the so hum. And you can just leave it open-ended. So hum or I am, and acknowledge where you are at the time. Yeah.
Wow, thank you, Shirley. I'm just taking all these notes. I'm writing everything down.
Yeah, that's
All of
one.
you are a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I wanted to read. It's on Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle do a
Oh,
lot of work with the mantra and so
I
on.
deeply respect Eckhart Tolle. I'm trying to get through every his
Yeah,
writings. So
you
it's
did
great.
great. You're doing wonderful work.
Thank you.
Another mantra that I like, in addition to Satnam, is just the Hindi word is namaha, namaha, but it means letting go. And so
Yeah,
just let go, letting go. You inhale, you let go. And I was in yoga school a while ago, and what we did as an exercise is you say it out loud for 10. It could be 7, 8, 9, but we said it out loud for 10. And then you sort of whisper it to yourself, and then you think it. And it's really powerful stuff.
mm-hmm.
I was never like, I didn't really think I liked mantras, you know. And so my teacher, he is a doctor. He's a Western and Eastern doctor. He gave us all a challenge to do it every day for 1 month. And I was on that email day 31. I was like, oh my gosh, it's really powerful stuff, because it just keeps you focused.
It
And
does.
the words should be something like not that you associate with anything, you know, so it could be joy or peace. And somebody in my class says, well, what about the word amen? And he said, if that's a neutral word for you, use it. But for so many people, you know, it could be a trigger. So just fine. And so and sometimes I do let go, and sometimes I do namaha, just because for me it's, you know, anyway, that's just another suggestion, but it's
Yeah,
really,
there's so
it's
many.
yeah.
Oh,
You can
thank you.
use just own too. Inhale and exhale own. That's a universal sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Jennifer.
always like the hum. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kate. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to ask Jennifer, could you elaborate a little bit more about what you do? You said that you were a resiliency consultant. Is that what you said?
Oh yes, a resilience consultant. Yes, I started this not too long ago. I was looking up for different certifications to see what would fit for me, and I discovered that a resilience practitioner is an actual certification. And my focus is on personal development, because for a lot of us, if we're not in school anymore, we have a tendency to stop learning. But personal development is continuous, and there's nothing wrong with learning how our mind works. There's no instruction on how to be a human. We don't receive that when we're born, so it's up to us to take the time to understand, well, why am I reacting this way? I would like to better respond to certain circumstances. Why do my emotions get the best of me? How can I start looking at my emotions as indicators of a situation that I'm comfortable with or I'm not comfortable with, instead of, oh my gosh, my entire existence is wrapped around how I feel in this moment and I can't control it. Those are things that we're capable of doing with a mental health care professional, but also something that we can do on our own. And of course, we can't self-diagnose, but there's nothing stopping us from learning why we do the things we do as human beings. So I started a YouTube channel where I'll be sharing different tools, strategies, modalities like this that people can utilize with their process when they're dealing with challenging life experiences. And so I've started the YouTube channel for that. And the goal is to continue to have workshops like this, online and offline, where I can offer these tools that people can use. Most of them, at home, or they can do it in their car. They can do it in the bathroom, at work, when they just need to get away from somebody. Just certain, little things like that that can help you maintain and develop your resilience. It's needed. Now it's needed more than ever, because a lot of civilians have gotten the wake-up call that life is extremely unpredictable. Being in the military, we know that, but for a lot of people, this is like the most I have no idea what's going on, situation ever, and so many are not adapting to it. So many are not adapting to it, and this is a time where we should have came together, not push each other further away. And I believe that cultivating resilience and developing a stronger, and not stronger, but emotionally intelligent mindset and perspective about why yourself and others do the things they do, it can help us, come together instead of further apart. That's my belief. That's a soapbox that I have to for another day.
What's your YouTube channel?
I have all of that right here. So you can take a picture, screenshot.
Okay, cool.
It's where you can find me.
We'd like to put it up on our website if that's acceptable for you.
Yes, please. Thank you. That would be an honor. That would be an honor. Yes. Yes, I only have a few videos up, but oh my gosh, I've been doing some training, so I will be pushing out content on a regular basis. The goal is to build a larger platform. I want to build a community of individuals who are focused on resilience. Like, there's division in, millennial generation, Generation X, baby boomers and all that. But what matters in this day and age is how resilient you are right now. The resilient generation is what's going to thrive past all of the nonsense that has been going on lately. So I'm extremely passionate about that. We need to help each other, and we need to share what we know. Just like this moment in this session that we've all shared things that has helped us, but it's gonna help everybody, as a whole. And that's wonderful. And I believe we should do that more often, instead of arguing about, what we disagree with. That's where my focus is on. That's where my focus is on a daily basis. So that's all I have, because I don't want to ramble.
You're awesome. You're awesome. Any other questions? Any other questions for Jennifer?
I just have a quick comment. I just wanted to say, I'm very grateful that you did this, Jennifer, and I feel like I could talk to you all day long about this, because I'm going to VCU right now, and I'm almost done with my psychology degree and my health science degree.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
All of that is stuff that we could talk about forever, based on what you've been saying. But anyway.
Oh, hit me up. And because I will need you, because I'll be starting back up school myself next year. I'm going to start back up, because so much has happened. I had to stop, but I'm starting back up, because I'm just not sure what I want to. I'm finishing a bachelor's in organizational leadership, but then I'm not sure what my master's is going to be. So maybe I could pick your brain about that.
Yeah. We can pick each other's brain.
Jennifer, you mentioned 3 steps. I have self-compassion and the 5 senses. What was the first one? I didn't get that one.
Oh, right here. The first one is ABRH, ABRH.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.